Oops. Alright, we won the die roll, which is also pretty lucky yet again. We have turn 2 show and tell, and then turn 3 natural order. Seems fantastic. Hopefully this show and tell is good to us. We do have to find a third land in order to cast the natural order. Shelldock Isle could mean that my opponent is playing some Eldrazi. If we show and tell and your opponent puts in an Eldrazi, you do just lose the game. Especially on a turn 2 show and tell. Face down card entered the exile zone. Good to know. Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, this does look like a storm deck. Well, holy shit, there's both of my natural order targets. Do I want to put in Nasty Terrasti here? I have no idea. I have no idea what to put in. Huh. Terrastodon blow up all your own shit is pretty good. I would blow up their Shelldock Isle, and I'd blow up both of my lands. No, I'm going to put in Progenitus. Don't get to play around Eldrazi regardless here. Alright, they put in a basic island. Progenitus is pretty decent against basic island. They're going to have to storm off, like, right now. Well, they got one additional draw step to storm off here. Alright, repeal means I'm kind of glad I didn't go the Terrastodon route. Smack him for 10. And replay Llanowar Elf. Even though it gives them another repeal target, I think it is still worth playing. They're not going to Snapcast or repeal. And even if they do, we win the game. So I'm not terribly concerned with Snapcaster Mage repeal here. It's like Wall of Blossoms, and the game's over. Alright, turn 2 Progenitus on the play. Turns out that's pretty damn good. So we'll settle for a turn 2 Progenitus here. What did my opponent have? Shelldock Isle and Wall of Blossoms and repeal. Alright, let's go for it. Green-blue Tinkertell. Of course, we've got the blue Tinker and the green Tinker. And then we have the blue Show and Tell and the green Show and Tell. Our opponent's mulligan to 6. Don't think that really impacts our decision here. This hand is a little bit awkward. It's got both colors of mana, but only single green. I'm going to mulligan. And the reason I'm going to mulligan is because we haven't had a channel game yet. My opponent mulligan to 5. I'm going to join them, because I want to get a channel game happening. This hand could be a good channel game. I'm going to put channel on top. No, alright. I'm going to put forest on bottom. We're going to look for channel. Opponent says island go. Unfortunately, the Awakening Zone creatures, like I said, they're not artifacts, nor are they green creatures. Should probably just crack Windswept Heath there, just to shuffle in the deck. Wall of Blossoms here. Yep, Wall of Blossoms. Alright, and we have Tooth and Nail to kind of make our cards cheaper. You know what? I think I'm okay hitting my land drops. I'd rather hit channel, but I think my land drops are good too. 3 mana for Shardless Agent into repeal targeting nothing. No, Brain Freeze milling us for a few here. That is perfectly acceptable. They might even mill themselves to turn on Shelldock Isle. I think that would be better. Nope, they are going to target us. The channel was 2 cards from the top. Curse you. Curse you in removing our channel victory here. That's fine. We'll keep Mana Crypt as a surprise, and so we take less damages here. Go grab a Forest, play an Awakening Zone. Next turn we have 6 mana. We also have 4 card types in our graveyard now. Alright, that is very relevant. That means Emrakul and Tooth and Nail both cost 9 mana. Opponent gets to take a look at our hand. That's right. If we draw a green creature, you are in some rough shape, mister. Celestia Signet sounds good. And Shardless Aeginuts down to 17. Let's always yes and always yield to this monster. Awakening Zone. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I could Tooth and Nail the Emrakul into play. But if we draw a land next turn, I can just cast it. Yeah, I'm going to just wait. One more turn, if we draw a land, we can cast it. 2 more turns, we can cast it regardless. Blue-green Storm isn't typically the variant of Storm that you see. Opponent bins High Tide, empty the Warrens. Wow, High Tide Frantic Search would have been insane. They could have actually done some crazy shit here. What is this? A Rock Swarmonk? No, Mana Volt into Time Twister. Shoot. Okay. Well, that's really punishing for not playing the Mana Crypt. But my opponent's not going to do too much there. That was kind of just a discard spell. Okay, they're going to have a really good next turn. And what are we going to be able to do this turn? Not too much, right? We're not going to have Ugin online. And Ugin's also not great. Because all of my opponent's power is tied up in artifacts. Tolarian Academy taps for 5 here. 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can play my 7th land here. Alrighty. Alright, we should definitely be able to cast Ugin next turn. Definitely a little bit punished for not putting Emrakul onto the battlefield, though. That is for sure. Who could have known? Gitaxian Probe is pretty good with the Time Twister there. Oh, my opponent's just going to untap Mana Volt this turn? Oh, that's got to be great for us. They have so much mana. Why are they untapping Mana Volt? That means they have nothing in their hand. Or they can just cast everything already. Right, Shelldock Isle's a little bit scary. They can't activate it for like another 2 more turns, which could even just be next turn. Shelldock Isle Frantic Search is pretty insane. If they have Frantic Search, they can activate their Shelldock Isle. They would also get to float mana off Tolarian Academy. Imagine that. Traverse for a basic mountain, and they're going to make a bunch of goblin tokens here. They're going to go to their end step. Okay. I'm going to copter my opponent here before I do anything else. Assuming this gets to attack, it might get like repealed or something here. Looks like that's the case. Yep. There's a repeal on Copter. Okay. So I think I just play Ugin and Lightning Bolt the Shardless Agent or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll hang on to my spawns. And let's just bolt Shardless Agent. The repeal is going to mean that my opponent can activate Shelldock Isle next turn. So our plan is really just to ultimate Ugin as soon as possible. Is playing Smuggler's Copter worth it? It could be. Yeah, let's play Smuggler's Copter. You know what? Because our opponent time twistered, we could actually channel this game. Lotus Bloom coming in hot soon. Shelldock Isle, castable right now. My opponent wants to make a bunch of goblins, which are bad against Ugin, or they want to brain freeze us for a whole bunch. Alright, here comes the Shelldock Isle. What do you got for a Shelldock Isle? Hopefully no Aeons are going to get torn here. Draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. Alright, that's one way to do it. Can also bounce permanents with this. Oh, only creatures. Only creatures. Okay, so not just better than Cryptic Command. But draw 3 cards is pretty good. My opponent's got to have enough to go off here. Lotus Bloom's still suspended, but my opponent with 4 plus... Okay, Jace, and I'm going to have to put the Storm card in a pile by itself. Pretty sure Frantic Search is the best card here. My opponent has Empty the Warrens, that's fine. We just get to Ugin. Frantic Search generates way too much mana, lets them draw 2 cards. Alright, they put Frantic Search into their hands, so we chose right. They're going to cast Frantic Search, generate a shit ton more mana. Yep. Filter out that colorless mana here. Oh yeah, you need your blue mana too. First tap Thran Dynamo, then tap Celestia Signet. Yeah, don't even worry about the Signet. Don't even worry about the Signet. That's just there to confuse you. I'm going to F6 here. So they get to draw 2 cards, then they get to discard 2 cards. Storm is 3. They discard Mountain Forest, the mountain that they found with Traverse the Ulvenwald. Then they're going to untap Tolarian Academy, Island, and Island. And they have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 mana here, just about. What do you got for us? 3 mana is this Shardless Agent? Nope, Shardless Agent already happened. This is Wall of Roots. They're done? Well, this does not seem like a great deck then. Alright, Smuggler's Copter is going to try to kill Jace. If it doesn't work, Ugin will take care of Jace. They could repeal Ugin now if they wanted to as well. Alright. Well, we'll Smuggler's Copter first because that gives us the most information. Let's attack Jace. We're We're going to draw a card, and I might want to bin the Metal Worker, because that'll fuel Traverse. Yeah, it seems kind of sweet. We're pretty close. We're just a card type or two away from activating Traverse here. Don't know what my opponent's game plan is here. They're clearly not short on mana, as they had about 15 mana at their disposal last turn, but I'll continue to cut them off mana here, just in case. That should be relevant. Alright, here comes the Lotus Bloom, as if my opponent needed more mana here. Do they need us to keep drawing cards? Like, are they going to mill us after we Ugin ult? It'll be a little bit embarrassing if Ugin ulting is actually what kills us. But I'm going to Ugin ult. Alright, so now we get to put up to 7 permanent cards from our hand onto the battlefield. Most of these suck, but Skull Clamp is really good. I mean, so are all these creatures, really. Definitely shouldn't touch Mox Sapphire, actually. Well, how many cards do I get to select? Like, all of them, right? Oh, okay. I missed Elvish Mystic, but I pretty much get to put all of them into play. And then I can Skull Clamp to draw my whole deck and die to Brain Freeze. Honestly, I'm in for it. It seems sweet. Let's start by drawing some cards with Skull Clamp here. Tooth and Nail. That should be good enough, right? We can't cut my opponent off of blue mana. That would be insane. But we can just Tooth and Nail and Entwine it. How much more mana do I need here? 2 more mana? Sure, here you go. So I can get any 2 creatures. Huh. Wait, I want to play Emrakul here. Yeah. Do I still have enough mana to play Emrakul? Probably not. Yeah, I might have fucked myself here. I think I could have played Emrakul and won the game in this turn cycle. Wait, if I traverse... So if I crack this Windswept Heath, I can get a forest. And now I can traverse for Emrakul. It's going to cost 9 mana. How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 1 mana short. Four card types, so 9, right? 1. I'm just going to tap these all just to make sure I'm not missing something. Undo. Shit. Let's not concede the game now. Let's not do anything drastic. There's no way I can get out of this one, right? Shoot, I should have sacked Llanowar Elves. Let's sacrifice Derogatory Speaker. I know I can show and tell Emrakul in. I think that's probably worse than just not doing it. Now my opponent only has to cast 4 spells and Brain Freeze me. Wait. If I just had these in my deck, I couldn't lose to Brain Freeze. I made the literal only sequence of plays that kills me to Brain Freeze. Alright, opponent. Brain Freeze me. You got me. You earned it. This is, yeah, this is maybe... This is a super powerful turn of Magic the Gathering. But it is embarrassing how bad it is. My opponent casts High Tide. They cast any other spell, any other spell, any other spell. And then cast Brain Freeze. Welp. Like, even if I just keep either of these 2 cards in my deck, I win the game. Returns Time Twister. Wait, oh, they're gonna shuffle my Emrakul back in again? See ya, Emrakul. That Emrakul's been shuffled into my deck so many times. My opponent now... Oh, my deck's only 9 cards big. Yeah, my opponent just has to hit a Brain Freeze or the means to cast the Brain Freeze here. Alright, they had to do a little bit more work. I'm an F6. If they can't kill me from here... Something is seriously, seriously wrong. Do they have to Frantic Search now? Opponent's tapping mana in weird ways. Looks like they might want to Frantic Search or something like that again. No, Jace. Alright, they're going to give me a Jace pile. Alright, Mystic Confluence is by itself this time. Oh my gosh. Alright, opponent's gonna cast Mystic Confluence off of Tolarian Academy. All they have to do is hit the Brain Freeze. And we took our anti-Brain Freeze tech and put it on the battlefield. I'm not sure if my opponent realizes that like Brain Freeze is so bad in the face of Blightsteel and Progenitus. Alright, here's a bunch of mana. They're going to cast Brawl. All their spells get a little bit cheaper. Alright, I'm not sure if that does much, but... Seems sweet. Mystic Confluence, draw 3. 14 cards left in the deck. Where's the Brain Freeze? High Tide again. Frantic Search. Alright, here's the Frantic Search. Knew that was going to come. So my opponent Frantic Searches, discards Mountain Empty the Warrens because we have Ugin. Untaps Tolarian Academy for another 10 mana. Storm count is 10. Here's the Brain Freeze. No. 13 mana. Crack your Lotus Bloom. 15 mana. Oh, this is a big spell. Time Spiral. Try again. Untap all your lands again. So Time Spiral shuffles its Time Twister, but for 6 mana, and you untap 6 lands. So with Tolarian Academy in play, it actually generates you mana just as much as Frantic Search does. 14 mana. Are we at the Brain Freeze? We've got to hit the brain freeze at this point. Mystic Confluence. Oh, God. We gonna do it again. Gitaxium Probe. Sure, take a look. But literally, even with my opponent doing all of this, they couldn't have beaten us if we didn't put Blightsteel and Progenitus onto the battlefield. We also could have put Nasty Terrasti onto the battlefield, but I figured we were safe. I'm going to counter that. That was the wrong creature for them to repeal. High Tide is fine. Now all of their lands tap for like... all islands tap for like 4 mana now. Oh, I got my Emrakul back. Oh, sweet. You know what that means. If our opponent doesn't kill us... Alright. There's the brain freeze. GG. Oh, what a nutty sequence of events. Let's take out Kitchen Finks and put in Scavenging Ooze, I believe. I think that's the only change I'm going to make. Could board in Fauna Shaman as well. We considered that earlier, though, too, didn't we? We also know my opponent has nothing to put into play via Eureka other than lands here. Lands and artifacts. Alrighty. Scavenging Ooze just wants to eat whatever it can from the graveyard and make Time Twisters worse. I guess you can keep some cards in there, like I'll keep Empty the Warrens in the graveyard if I already have Ugin in play. My opponent probably could have, like, put themselves in a position where they bounce my Ugin and then Mystic Confluence it on the way back down. And then also make a bunch of Goblin tokens. But they also just won the game, so that worked out for them as well. We would like to be on the play. Yes, indeed. Show and Tell, Tinker, and Eureka. We're just going to try to tinker out a Blightsteel and make this game a lot quicker than the last. We want to traverse... No, we can traverse next turn. Maybe we do just want to traverse here. Yeah, I'll just traverse. It's not going to get that much better for us anytime soon. Both myself and my opponent playing Traverse. Pretty powerful card here. Yeah, I definitely could have played Emrakul there that turn and really done some nasty stuff. Could have just Tooth and Nailed and put it into my hand. Just Tooth and Nail to tutor it up. That would have won me the game too. Oh well. A lot of plays would have won us the game. We get it. Sand's going to be pretty slow. Turn 3 Metalworker. Turn 4 Tinker. We have to hope that Metalworker doesn't get repealed or something as well. Traverse for a basic island sounds good. They want to hit all of their islands that they can so that they can High Tide. Ooh, Mana Vault. What's happening here? Jace? Gruul Signet into Untapped Mana Vault. No, Gruul Signet into Jace. They're going to take whatever pile has 2 cards in it. Yeah, they can have 2 more islands. I think that they probably have High Tide. So maybe we made bad piles there, but we're just trying to win with Blightsteel. Nothing fancy here. My opponent's deck looks crazy dirtily. So I think just turn 4 Blightsteel will be good enough. I mean, that is still really strong. It's probably not strong enough for... No, you know, it's strong enough for Vintage. Turn 4 Blightsteel. Typically, you want some amount of interaction in there, too. But if you put a Blightsteel onto the board on turn 4, it's possibly okay. Ooh, Shackles my Metalworker. Alright, that's unfortunate. That means we are going to have to find a Moxen, or we can just find another creature. That'll do it. That is another creature for sure. That is another creature indeed. Alright, so now we just have to not draw Blightsteel. Alright, Jace makes our team smaller, and then what else do they have for us? They have a Scavenging Ooze for us. It's pretty good. Let's just tinker this shit away. If they bounce it, we can put it right back into play. As long as they don't bounce it and then also Time Twister. That would be a little bit annoying. But short of that, we're in an okay position. How is Jace at 4? That's pretty weird. Alright. Mystic Confluence. You got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. They're not going to take Repeal. They're going to take Mystic Confluence, bounce just our Blightsteel, and then draw 2 cards. We're going to show and tell it back in. Hope that that's good enough. I'll Eureka if I draw Ugin. They're just going to main phase this so that they can find some... if they draw some relevant spells off of this. Like, they could draw, like, some more Signets or whatever. Yep, drawing 2 and bouncing our Blightsteel. 5 cards in hand. Just going to keep putting Blightsteel onto the battlefield, though. Could play around Mana Leak with Show and Tell. That seems like the most worthwhile option. Oh, that also lets us play Basalt Monolith afterwards, too, as a backup. Should have played Basalt Monolith first. So that way I was always playing around Mana Leak. Alright. See you, Metalworker. Hello, Blightsteel. Opponent with 4 cards in hand. Repeal is on the bottom of their deck. Jace ticked up, but Scavenging Ooze is now a 3/3, so can't attack into that. We haven't seen any other way to deal with Blightsteel Colossus, but I'm thinking it might have another way. We haven't seen like a control magic or anything crazy like that. Alright, High Tide. Looks like they're just going to try to combo off. Alright, Time Spiral. Time Spiral's pretty good. If they can combo off, they might just be able to Mystic Confluence us again, which that actually could just be enough, right? All of their lands are islands. That's pretty crazy, too. Why are they tapping green mana, though? Frantic Search. It seems worse than just... Wait, how does this work? Whenever an island... Okay, so even if you tap an island for blue or for green mana, you get to make blue mana as well. They bind both storm cards. Seems like it kind of bodes well for us, right? They couldn't just brain freeze us out? That was their third spell. I'm kind of surprised on that. 15 mana. No Emrakul. No, Frantic Search. Okay. We're going to get all these cards back. Opponent's going to look for Mystic Confluence. They're going to get to untap all of their lands. Yeah, they're kind of doing it here. They now have access to 12... They have access to 11 mana. They can still minus Jace if they ever completely fizzle. Gitaxian Probe, take a look. I've got Tooth and Nail and the means to cast it. I might put some monsters on the battlefield on my turn. I'm going to keep Progenitus in my deck, though. That is my guarantee. Progenitus will stay in my deck. Reflector Mage seems annoying. You can have Shackles Island. Don't have nearly enough islands to Shackles or Blightsteel here, but that would be pretty crazy. They could Reflector Mage it, but if they Reflector Mage it, I'm pretty sure I just get to Tooth and Nail it right back out, right? Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's enough to Tooth and Nail Entwined. Repeal. What did they repeal there? Oh, they repealed their own Mox Emerald. They could have also repealed Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, I don't actually know which cards that they took. Oh, they took the island and the Vidalcan Shackles. Okay, that makes sense too. 21 mana now for my opponent. Worn Power Stone. If they tap all their lands, that means they have to be Time Spiraling. Nope. Shackles. Brain Freeze. Okay. Well, we almost lose. But we still get one more draw step. Anytime the Progenitus is hit, it shuffles itself back in. Alright, Progenitus gets shuffled back in, so that's one Progenitus. One more Progenitus. I can't really see how many cards are in my deck because Magic Online, but here's all the cards in my graveyard. Progenitus again. Okay, looks like it's just Progenitus left in our deck. Again, can't totally see what this number is, but it looks like a 1. So we're going to draw Progenitus for turn. We're going to attack with Blightsteel, and then we're going to lose on the following turn. But we're going to discard Progenitus to hand size, actually. Yeah, my opponent could have repealed or Mystic Confluenced this. But we're just going... Our plan is to just keep on discarding Progenitus to hand size. Oh, my opponent's eating cards with Scavenging Ooze right now. That's what they're doing. Alright, they've got a big Scavenging Ooze. Wait, are they going to be able to make a 12-12 Scavenging Ooze? 1... No, they're done. They're done. They've got an 8-8 Scavenging Ooze. But I'm not dead. You don't lose the game from having no cards in deck. You lose the game from drawing cards from an empty library. So the plan here is to draw Progenitus, swing with Blightsteel Colossus, pass the turn, discard Progenitus, shuffling it back into our deck. Is our opponent stealing Reclamation Sage here? They are indeed. Sounds good. What else do you got for us? You got 3 minutes on the clock, opponent. You have to find a means to deal with Blightsteel Colossus. Smuggler's Copter gets exiled. Oh, is it our turn? Oh, I don't think our opponent knows how badly we punted game 2 and why all we really ever had to do was just keep Progenitus in our deck to win. All right, they're going to chump block with Reclamation Sage and Scavenging Ooze here. I'm going to kill both of them. I'm going to say, okay, my opponent is going to take 2 poison, and I'm going to end my turn discarding Progenitus, shuffling it back into my deck. All right, what do you have for us now? Like I said, my opponent did have ways to get out of this game. They just had to repeal the Blightsteel. They could bounce it now. All right, a hideaway land. That's not going to be enough in time. Do they also have Frantic Search to untap it? They kind of need Frantic Search here. That'll do it. My opponent cannot mill our Progenitus Blightsteel Colossus deck. That was a pretty crazy match. I got to give it to my opponent. He put a sweet deck together. But that is going to be it for me, guys. Let me throw up my outro screen here. I don't know why that never displays properly the first time, but here we go. Thank you guys very much for watching. I am NoLucksGiven. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to hit that follow button and be notified when I go live in the future. You can also catch me at my YouTube channel, which you can find a link for in the panels below the stream. And there you'll find full stream VODs, highlight videos, versus series, deck primers, all that and more. Lots of fun stuff there. Quick rundown of what I mostly play, just so you guys know. There's also a video on my YouTube channel that describes what I mostly play, but a lot of vintage cube as well as modern as far as Magic Online goes. And then a little bit of vintage and legacy, trying to get into those as well. That's pretty much it for Magic Online, maybe the occasional draft as well. And then Eternal card game, do a lot of drafting and some ranked play where I am Masters, or have hit Masters in both of those. Hearthstone Legend, Infinite Arena Drafter. Don't play too much of that on stream. A little bit of Duelist, never that on stream either just yet, but maybe in the future. Then also some Soulforge, where I am the #1 ranked drafter. Motor Dread, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it a lot. And yeah, if there's any part of it that you missed, hopefully you'll check out the YouTube and like some of that there. Got some highlight videos to make out of all of my crazy vintage cubing throughout the weekend. It's been a lot of fun. We've drafted a lot of sick decks, and this was a sweet one. Unfortunately, my opponent's deck was probably sweeter. My deck would have been sweet, though, if I had just tutored up Emrakul, cast it, and then storm comboed my opponent, milling them a whole bunch. That would have been awesome, and I could have done it. I just didn't see the play right on time there, but still sweet stuff. That is going to be it for me for the night. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.